Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Worst Reviews Ever. Today it's gonna be me and Casey Fred again. The two
What's
heavy
up?
hitters.
Yeah, you already know the deal, baby. Going to the AFC Championship. Woo, 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 woo,
I don't know
woo.
about all that. I'm gonna put my money on Buffalo, but
Hey, man, all we gonna be doing is collecting the bills, so you know.
that was a good comeback. But all right, we'll go ahead and jump into the
Oh, yeah,
review.
buddy.
But all right, we'll go ahead and jump into the review. So the review today is Back in Action. The new movie with Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz. So definitely, I'll say Hall of Fame actors and actresses. So
Mhm.
definitely was kind of anxious to see this one. But let me go ahead and give the summary on this real quick, and then of course we'll jump in, watch the trailer, and then we'll do our rating. So Back in Action is a 2025 American action comedy film directed by Seth Gordon from a script he co-wrote with Brendan O'Brien. So the plot on this is former CIA spies Emily and Matt are pulled back into espionage after their secret identities are exposed. So give me 1 second. Let me go to the next one. So the directors and producers, directed by again Seth Gordon, produced by Peter Sharin, Gino Toppin, Charla Sumter Bridget, Bo Bauman, and Seth Gordon. So yeah, Seth doing everything.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, Seth like, look, I'm doing it all. I want 3 paychecks. But all right, the cast on this movie: Jamie Foxx as Matt, Cameron Diaz as Emily, McKenna Roberts as Alice, Ryland Jackson as Leo, Kyle Chandler as Chuck, Glenn Close as Jenny Curtis, Jamie as Nigel, Andrew Scott as Baron. You saw I skipped that last name. I'm learning. Fola Evans as Kambola, Robert Besta as Baltazar Gore. Probably should have skipped that one. I didn't butcher it. Bashir as Coach Chris and Tom Brittany as Dylan. So all right, man, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the trailer so we go ahead and watch that before we get your rating ready, Fred. So we're gonna jump and
Yeah.
watch this trailer. All right, let me.
Dad, can we please get something to eat?
You look right up here. You guys run in, grab some snacks, right? In and out. Bring my change back. And some M&Ms. Go.
No, wait, did you see what we just saw?
Did you see what we just did?
15 years ago, me and your mom were non-official cover operatives for the CIA.
But we went off the grid to start a family.
Can you beat up all the dads in my school?
I could beat them all up, just not at the same time.
When your enemies find out that you're alive, they're gonna come after you and your kids.
Find them.
Hello, Mother.
We've been compromised.
We're gonna fix all that.
Take a look in the mirror, say what's up.
I can't believe they were spies.
No way.
They're in a pickleball league.
They make their own sourdough.
Ew.
That was insane.
But was it like a good insane or a bad insane?
That's bad.
Right. I was just checking.
Is the cable broken? Is that why you boomers are out this late?
Boomers.
Yes, Karen. Boomers.
We're not boomers, okay? We're Gen X, if anything. Let's go. Let's get out of here.
All right. So let me pull up the slides again. So all right, Casey Fred, what's your rating?
I might as well be the outlier and just go all the way with it, man. I literally gave it an 8.5. I love action movies, and for me, this didn't disappoint. And I was so proud of Jamie Foxx, especially after all that he's been through. So
Okay. Yeah, you definitely an outlier on this one. Now, I had it at like 7.4, so it's still very good. But yeah, you got it in excellent territory. So all right, man. All right, so we'll go to the questions, and I'll start it off since you kicked it off last time. So my rating was a 7.4, and the reason I gave it a very good rating, I did like the action scenes, definitely like the chemistry between Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz, and then I like the generational elements to it. Then they had I thought the humor was good; it wasn't forced. So I think they did a good job, like mixing up the action, with humor, and I think it actually had a good plot and a storyline. So the scenes and performances that stuck out, because I'm gonna circle back to the plot and storyline when I do my changes, because it's gonna kind of tie in. But the scenes and performances that stuck out, I thought that first action scene when they was on that airplane,
Yes.
that and it crashed. I thought that was a very good scene. And then even when they was they went to that Russian guy's house to build up to the plane crash. So I
Right.
like how it showed like the caliber of spies that they were. So those were the first two ones that stuck out. And then, definitely the one, towards the middle when it showed the dynamic with the kids. So I like man, it's kind of hard to point out just a couple scenes because I think it flowed so well where, the action scenes definitely at the end too, but I know you're going to hit on some of those where like the boat chase. So, I mean, there was a lot of tough scenes in this movie, man.
Yes.
Yeah. So, if I were the director and producer, what would I change and do differently? And the reason why I was like, I'm gonna do this in a plot together. I think in the beginning, I wish they would have had like more missions before they actually got married and had the kids and stuff like that. Because I would have liked to see that play out a little bit more, especially that they're kind of hinting that there might be a sequel. So I didn't think they had to rush to be the parents. I think they kind of did that like more towards the end, like, and then maybe in a found out she was pregnant, but showed a dynamic with them just having a relationship building up, and then maybe in the sequel they could have done kind of introduced the kids. So I didn't think they had to rush to it because it was just great anyways. Just even like I said, those beginning scenes where there were spies and stuff, and my man was like, "Oh, I saw y'all holding hands. Oh, okay, y'all sleeping together." So and it was them being interracial and all that. I thought I like how all that tied in together. So I would have liked to see him, like I said, do like more scenes, and she would have introduced like maybe the pregnancy towards the end of the film, and then it'd be like, oh, okay, now we got kids, and they kind of did a fast forward maybe, in the second one. Because I mean, I really like the series, so even though that they're gonna do the sequel, I still want to see that. But yeah, it's like they could have stretched it out a little bit more. Because the action on this movie was just so tough, that I definitely could have seen them point that out more. And would I recommend this to anyone? Absolutely. So I'll go ahead. I'll toss it over to you, Fred.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, 8.5, man. I'm trying to tell you. Now, I didn't put it in classic territory. I just didn't. But hey, when I say back in action, I'm trying to tell you, Jamie Foxx is back. And Cameron Diaz, man, she hadn't been that good since Charlie's Angels. So she was all of a sudden doing it. And as you saw in the preview, hey, what you're not going to do is call her a Karen, okay? That's the last thing you want to call her. And she got all these weapons of mass destruction, kicks and punches, and knows how to use a gun. I mean, come on. Those are the kind of people you don't mind taking with you in the dark alley. And to me, I loved it because it had the family involved. It had the kids. And you wanted the kids because one thing, first of all, I want to say they picked the right kids because they look like they could actually be a part of this family. You know, a lot of times when you watch movies and stuff, people don't look the part, and you be like, okay, somebody's been creeping or something like that because they don't fit in. There's always that black sheep or something like that. But no, both of them fit in. They looked the part. Now, one person I thought that was going to steal the show was a powerhouse, was Grandma Glenn Close. And Glenn Close has been in a lot of spectacular movies and everything, and yet she kind of all of a sudden was that mama was just hardcore and she was British too. You just finally realize why all of a sudden Cameron Diaz was the mom that she was and also the wife that she was. Because one thing you realize, even at the end, grandma and grandpa ain't together, but at the end they let you know there's a sequel coming and you're gonna meet grandpa. Oh, that's for sure. And I just can't even imagine what superstar actor is gonna be playing that role, because I just can see them just building off of this. I hope it's not a Fast and Furious, but hey, if it is, right now we just gonna enjoy the ride, because it was a nice roller coaster, packed with a lot of action, packed with just learning how the kids operate, the dynamics in there, understanding why all of a sudden Cameron Diaz, I think her name was Emily in there, wasn't it? Was that who she played? Why she was the way she was. And it all goes back to her mom, who is grandma. She was a spy too. And so at the end of the day, here it is, Cameron Diaz wanted to do the opposite of what her mom was, because she felt like she wasn't there. But grandma was letting everybody know, hey, it's because I raised you this way. That's why you able to be this way for your kids. And it was really, I mean, it was just really cool how they came together. And I just thought, if there was ever a double cross, it's always going to be the boss. It's always going to be somebody that's greedy, somebody that's just full of ambition and stuff. And just like most husbands, they don't tell the wife, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I kept the key and that's why they after us and our cover is blown, you know? So I just thought that was really cool, because you was trying to figure out, okay, so you decide to go undercover, you decide to all of a sudden leave the grid because you want to, all of a sudden you realize that your woman is pregnant. So you guys go ahead and start the family and just leave. Okay, we got that. But how did they find you? It's because they've been searching for this key. And you don't find out till later that Jamie Foxx had hid the key. And out of all the places to hid the key, he hides it at grandma's place. So that's where grandma got to get involved and everything. And it was funny. It was action packed. I love the storyline about how setting. You see how they're top CIAs. Both of them can kick butt. Both of them were good in their field. It wasn't like one was better than the other. It was just like they both did their thing. I think that's why it had that Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibe to it, because you could feel the chemistry and the vibe, and that's why they got together. And of course, they was knocking boots because, I mean, how many pregnancy tests did she have? It looked like 6, 8. I don't even know. She said, I peed on all of them. Hey, let me tell you, pick any one. They're all the same. So I was just cracking up about that. So it brought comedy into it as well. But the storyline was basically about family and about once the kids finally figured out who their parents were, because they was like, no, man, we got these lame parents. They driving us around in a minivan. They are not cool at all. They didn't even know that they were spies until their cover was blown. And of course, how did their cover get blown? Social media. So I mean, when you learn these skills, it ain't like you can turn them off. And you jerk, you've been in the service. Somebody busts in your house, you gonna bust out these skills. That's just how it all goes down. And so
hell no, I'm running.
They started putting hands on the teenagers, man. They didn't even care. They was like, oh, you about to get these hands. You about to get these hands. Call me Karen one more time. You know what I mean? That's how she was. And so, and then, of course, Jamie, he loved his family. He loved his wife. And just the relationship that they all had with their kids and stuff, you just saw it. Honestly, you could feel it. Like, it's real. There's a lot of parents that all of a sudden don't understand their kids and their kids don't understand the parents. So it just felt real all around. And so, like I said, I really enjoyed the movie. There's so many scenes that stuck out. I love how I think the young boy Leo, as he's all of a sudden learning more about his parents being spies and CIA, he's finally realizing that, hey, I think I might even have some skills because he took a star and threw it dead bullseye at this little arena, this little dart thing that he was throwing. And the guy that was dating grandma, of course, he said, what do you call him? He said, call me grandpa. And everybody's like, oh, hold on, wait a minute. That's too soon, too soon.
Yeah, that was Baron, right?
It was just that whole thing, that element where you got a chance to be able to get your laugh on, even in the midst of action. Like I said, I totally enjoyed it. There was a lot of scenes where all of a sudden you realize that, it wasn't like it was over the top where the kids could actually do something where they were like superheroes or something like that. No, it literally, they did their part. And like one scene I love where all of a sudden they're trying to escape the boat scene, and and they throw him off the boat and stuff like that and everything. Okay. And then the son was like, oh, you don't have to tell me, I know what to do. He jumps into the water too. So, I mean, it's different elements and stuff like that you saw. I thought that was really cool. I did like the how, like you said, the Russian part of it, and just there's so much action that was going on. And then you realize that even the different sceneries as far as where they were and where they hide out and stuff like that, I thought that was really good.
Well, let me get Wally in there real quick.
Huh?
Let me get Wally in there real quick because we can circle back.
On here?
Yeah,
What's up, Wally? He never showed his face. I didn't even know he was here.
So what's good, Wally? Let me go back to the rating. So I gave it a 7.4. Fred, you was a
8.5.
8.5. So what's your rating, Wally? And we toss the questions to you.
4 and 8.5. So I had to cut this like a little bit razor short because I ended up had to do something. But I would say, as much as I've seen it, and this is just gonna be like, I'm gonna just hit this at like for what it is, for what I can get from it. But yeah, I have it at a 7.5.
Okay. So you're in very good territory, and let me get a questions for you. So here you go. The floor is yours.
So why did I rate it a 7.5? Look, plot and storyline, it was interesting. I mean, pretty much Fred put it out there. It was more of the Mrs. and Mrs. Smith type vibery. The only thing is they didn't hate each other. They were more in sync. Thank goodness.
That's a good point.
Yeah, the plot and storyline was very interesting. Pretty much they end up having the flame being pretty much destroyed as they're being set up, which you can sort of tell like the guy has some screwy business in between because he was so obsessed with the woman in the movie and he pretty much would never get close because lo and behold, who's in the way. So yeah, it's just one of those very like more unique type of story plays. Like, okay, bitterness within how certain relationships were formed, in the sense of also setting up them to fail, because of course, who gave you the plane, but then who also set you up in it is like the moment like they heard that, oh, magically the bathroom within the plane is quote unquote broken. That tells you everything. Like, oh, okay. Oh, the bathroom is broken, eh? Okay. Like you had this plane for like so long and magically the bathroom is broken. All right. That's very interesting. When this is a private plane. So it was just very weird. But of course, that ties into the whole factor of it being set up. Two, it was very good because I didn't notice that Jamie Foxx character I didn't know he sneaked off the key. I thought he gave it to him at first. So it was very interesting to hear that when he said that, the key, when the agent comes to their house magically one day and reveals that, oh, the key's still active, and we know it's still active out there, and none of the robbers got it because we searched everybody. And then basically Jamie just came out of nowhere and said, hey, look, hey, I hit the key, right? You did what? And you didn't now tell me this after 15 years? I mean, it happened once I thought we were scot-free, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's going to find us. Yeah, I just hit the key. Where did you hit it? At your mother's place. I'm like, why? It was just a whole mess up of, not telling full information from the kid's side, not telling full information to your wife at the point. It was just a whole mixed bag of just yee. It was like the perfect blend of action and comedy mixtured in. That was just that with a whole total adrenaline drive in between it all that just made it very uniquely good. And it was just transcending. One of the like performances that really stuck out was pretty much when Jamie and I forgot her name, but when they two were pretty much in sync and they were going back and forth, like just being in sync, neither in action scenes or neither just like aka the bedroom, right? Like, oh, they just like he put mittens on, she put boxing gloves, and the kids think that they're out there freaking around them. In reality, the real freaking around was what's about to happen when they went to the shower. I'm like, oh, you didn't hear that part. So, you know what I'm saying? So, that was some beautiful things. That was some beautiful things. It was just very good. And then it's like even the kids, just being so curious and being very witty and being very smart, which hats off to the parents for being just as smart, for them to just starting to pick up and realize that their parents ain't really normal as they seem to be, and picking those things off as they go. And it was just a very lovely, unique dynamic. Because it was just crazy how 15 years later you would think somebody would have eventually found a trace to find them, and after 15 years of being excavated and leaving the force and just trying to have a regular life, it's a miracle how they just end up having a regular life, raising their kids and their and then it's like they move on forward. But it's it's one of those unique factors that just makes this really like uniquely good and fun. At the same time, definitely, we can also talk about the mother-daughter scene, just how climactic that was, especially for childhood references and everything else, which also, it sends that usual message of sometimes you just got to patch up old things and actually talk about something versus just trying to nip it in the butt, quote unquote, and not just, be very direct about it, but just be like, it is what it is versus actually talk about it and figured it out. But yeah, it was just one of those. I mean, the kid scenes too were pretty good when it comes down to like the actionary parts of like them slowly and truly figuring out that their parents are agents, and it's like, oh, this will never be the same. And another good part, and this is my favorite part, where they're at the gas station, they got surrounded, and then
yeah, that was a tough scene.
This shit. Get that flamethrower. I was like, oh snap. I was like, there was so much good stuff. There was so much good stuff in this movie overall. Oh man. So as far as if I was the director or the producer of the movie, now I can't say I would change anything because like I said, I only watched like almost as much as up to like more than a little bit of half, so I couldn't say I would have changed anything per se just yet because I haven't watched the full thing out, but just for majority of it, I have watched. But would I recommend this movie to anyone? Definitely, this was good, and more so than not, this was actually lowly rated. This should be rated more. I think the only reason why it was probably rated, people will say like, oh, it was sort of similar to other movies in the past and all that stuff. But you know what? There ain't enough movies that will sit here and tell you we became spies. They were very good spies together as a unit, and at the same time, they end up getting kids. You just don't find something as good as this.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, this was a Netflix production, so yeah, they definitely stepping their game up.
Yeah, big time.
On that. But the one guy I missed on mine, actors and performances, was Glenn Close. I know you mentioned him, Fred, a little bit. He was pretty funny because he was he was all like trying to get hyped up to get into the what was it, the CIA or Secret Service, whatever it was, and he was just kind of like just slow with everything because that boy was even showing him out. So yeah, I liked his like little dynamic. He was kind of a loser. Everybody else is like high performing and stuff, and he's sitting there trying to get in there. So yeah, I liked his character too. But Wally, you missed it. I would say the only thing got changed. I was saying that I would have made overall was pretty much. I wish they would have carried out like a couple more missions of them being adults without the kids, and then maybe like bringing the kids in towards the end because they hint towards a sequel in this movie where it's definitely people are trying to get them back in missions. So yeah, that's why I was just like, I wish they would have like had them adults, and it's probably because I really don't like kids too much. But
you had kids.
Yeah,
you had a kid. Exactly, you had a kid.
But yeah, so I wish they would have, man, because I really like the action scenes, man. Like those action scenes was tough. So whoever choreographed that, like you said, with how they were like in sync with each other, yeah, they did a great job on that. And the fighting scenes was a way over the top because now you be seeing people flying across the room, so it's just definitely good martial arts and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if I just improvise just off of that, I mean, I didn't actually knock it because, of course, if you did that, it would just sort of look like similar to all the other movies in a sense. If you didn't add that part, you add it to the end. So that's the only thing I wouldn't really consider a change. Because my only difference is like, okay, if I'm just talking about a change from what I've seen so far, like I would at least hope in some form or fashion, it's like whoever the agency that they were following, you would think you hear from them somewhere within 15 years by now, or get someone tracking them. However it is, like they'll find something. It took them 15 years to find them, which is just absurd as heck. Because like somewhere out there, you can decode these pictures. You can just use their picture because you have their picture. You can just be like, okay, where have these people been last seen? And it took y'all 15 years to find them. Like, okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that would have been a little. I would have said at least like maybe the agent would have found them sooner. And then it's like, okay, you found them sooner, and then you try to figure out ways like maybe like I don't know, some way somehow like there's a mixture in between like okay, agency and then this and like agency and then being parents are like half and half work in a sense. Because one thing for sure, like when I look at this movie, it's like it's a mixed bag, right? Of like Spy Kids from the parents' entry side, and then it's like then of course you put Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's like a mixed bag of that. Because at that point it's like, okay, well, the kids are even spies at that moment, but the only thing is in this case, the kids don't know that your parents are actually spies, even though they probably would have been more cooler in their minds. And plus two, you probably would have had a little bit more decency and respect knowing what they come from and what their profession is. But then it's like, okay, then you probably have to do a lot of co-oping of how you would have to set this up and everything, and knowing that this is their job and then there's their livelihood and they'll be targets for the rest of their lives. So it's like somewhere around the board, like, yeah, these kids gonna have to be protected somehow. It's like you're gonna have to bring them in the family business.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
But all right, y'all know what time it is. We're gonna get back to the rating. If anybody wants to change theirs, go up, go down. So we'll start with you, Wally. You gonna change your rating from a 7.5, or are you gonna stay the same?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay at 7.5 mainly because I haven't finished it all. But
okay,
if it does move the way it's moving for me, so far as I can see it, I definitely couldn't come around and say yeah, it's probably an 8. But okay. I want to watch first. I'll definitely comment back in the comments.
Yeah. I want to see your comments. I want to see you go up. All right, Casey, Fred, you gonna go up, down, or are you staying the same?
No, it's actually 8.5 is excellent territory, is right where it needs to be. And like I said, I mean, the name fits the movie, Back in Action. And I'm just, honestly, I've been a Jamie Foxx fan for a very long time. We all know that he even said in his own comedy special that he had a stroke. And for him to be able to come back and to be able to do this and perform and do what he does and entertain us like the way he did, hey, total kudos. I'm so happy for him. And even with Cameron Diaz, we hadn't seen her in a long time either. And it was good. And it was just like the way the movie was, you know. And when they were talking about, wasn't it so good to be back? And that's, you could tell that they was really feeling this movie and stuff. And so I was just really happy about it. And like I said, I highly recommend it to everyone. I really do.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go up a little bit. I'm gonna go up to like a 7.6. So can't go up too high, but I definitely liked it, man. And great concept, man. I like the actors and actresses in there. Like Wally said, I think it had that good combination of humor and action. It wasn't they didn't force the comedy too much. So yeah, I think they had a nice balance. So shout out to Netflix, man. They definitely stepping their game up with those productions, you know. So yeah, they doing a great job. But all right, y'all, keep tuning in, keep recommending movies to us, and we'll keep breaking them down and reviewing them. But all right, y'all, peace.
Peace.